Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on a really simple but incredibly powerful way to handle all that daily stress that just seems to weigh us down. It's all about finding a switch that's already inside of you, just waiting to be flipped.
So let me just start with a pretty big question. What if I told you that you could stop that overwhelming feeling of stress in just 10 seconds? No, really, it's not some kind of myth or a complicated technique. It's a simple switch in your mind you probably never even knew you had.
You know, so many of us walk around with this invisible weight on our shoulders. It's this constant inner noise that feels like a heavy burden. On the outside, we might look like we've got it all together, but inside, our mind is carrying this massive load that just leaves us feeling completely drained. And that load, well, that's stress. So let's dive right in. Section 1, the 10-second magic switch. Now, to actually flip this switch, we first have to understand where stress really comes from. Okay, this right here is a huge mindset shift. We usually think stress is an external thing, right? It's our job, it's that difficult person, it's our tough circumstances. But the real truth? Stress is internal. It's actually born from the stories, often the incorrect stories, that we tell ourselves about those situations.
And this is where the power lies. Think about it. The exact same event can either completely break you or build you up into someone stronger. The only difference is the interpretation you choose to give it. Stress isn't some new attack coming at you every second. It's usually just our own mind clinging to old worries. We actually have the power to let them go.
Which brings us to our next section, thoughts. Not stones, but clouds. Let's explore this art of letting go with a really simple but powerful metaphor.
Okay, imagine you're in a room and a teacher hands you a small stone. She just asks you to hold it out in your hand. For the first few moments, it feels super light, almost weightless. No big deal, right? But watch what happens as time goes on. After 5 minutes, it's still pretty light. But after, say, 10 minutes, your arm starts to ache a little. And what if you tried to hold it for an entire hour? The pain becomes almost unbearable. But here's the crucial part. The stone's actual weight never changed, not one bit. So, the problem isn't the stress itself, just like it wasn't the stone. The real problem is how long we hold on to it. A small worry that we just refuse to put down can become this crushing, heavy weight. So how do you actually put the stone down? Well, here's a super simple technique you can use absolutely anywhere. First, just notice that heavy stone, that worry in your mind. Then, stop what you're doing and just focus on your breath. In and out. For those 10 seconds, you've mentally put the stone down. You've given your mind a much-needed break. All right, section 3. Change your inner story. Because putting the stone down is step 1. Now let's talk about rewriting the reality that your mind creates in the first place. Think about this image for a second. Imagine you're walking in a dark room and you suddenly jump back, terrified. You've seen a snake. But then you flick on the light and, oh, it was just a piece of rope on the floor. The object itself never changed, but your interpretation of it created all that fear. So much of our stress comes from simple misinterpretations just like this one.
And that leads to a really important question you can ask yourself. What are the ropes in your life, the simple facts, that your mind has twisted into terrifying snakes?
Here's exactly how we can rewrite that internal script. The old snake story might be, I am a failure. The new rope story is, I am learning. Instead of thinking mistakes mean I'm incompetent, you can choose mistakes are how I gain experience. Or instead of my life is hard, try I am facing a challenge. You see, this small shift in language changes everything. It's not just about words, it's about rewiring the entire path in your brain.
And that brings us to our final section. Peace is in your hands. The core message here is that peace is your natural state. It isn't some far-off goal you need to achieve, it's something you just need to access. Here's a really beautiful way to visualize this. You are not your thoughts. Think of yourself as the vast open sky. All your thoughts, your worries, your stresses, they're just clouds passing by. You don't have to grab onto them or become the storm. You can simply observe them as they drift on. Now get this statistic is pretty wild. Research suggests that around 80% of your thoughts today are the exact same thoughts you had yesterday. This just goes to show how much of our stress is simply a habit. And the fantastic news about habits, you have the power to break the cycle. So, inner peace isn't some destination you have to struggle to get to.
It's your birthright. It's your default setting. Your only job is to remember how to access it, to clear away the clouds and see the sky that's been there the whole time.
And that brings us to our final question, because the real work starts now. It's not about what you've learned here, but what you choose to do with it. So, I'll leave you with this. Which of your inner stories will you choose to rewrite today?